Hi, everybody. This is Carrie Mubarak at wooingnature.life, and this is your reading, your monthly reading for May, and this is for my water sign Cancer people. Hi, Cancers. Hope you all are doing well. I am going to be reading today from the Sacred Earth Oracle. I'll be pulling two cards from that deck just so that we can kind of get a feel or get some focal points for the month of May. And then I'm going to follow up with Carolyn Mace's archetype cards. This is so that we can see what energies are floating around you or what you need to be on the lookout for, either personally or outside of yourself, people that may be around you, etc., etc. And then I'll be reading from the Tarot of 1001 Nights just to kind of get your story, see what's going on. And then the very last deck that I will be pulling from is the Alphabet for Lovers. Now, this is a card for, or these are cards that deal with relationships. So I'm going to be talking about that in general. So if it comes up as a romantic, yes, that's fine. But then also it may come up in relationship to other love relationships. Could be parental, parents, kids, family. So we'll just kind of broaden our perspective of what a love reading looks like for you for this month. And I'm doing that because we've all been holed in and hemmed in, and some relationships are strained, some relationships are building, and so we just want to kind of keep our mind on that slight difference in our dynamic. Hopefully by the time you are receiving this message for the month of May, or sometime in the month of May, maybe some of this will have lightened up by then. We certainly hope so. And again, hope you all are physically well. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just shuffle these Sacred Earth oracles and see what we get for you, Cancer. All right. We've got alchemy and we have perspective. Alchemy and perspective. And I'm going to start with perspective first because I think the perspective ties into the alchemy. Perspective. So your perspective is based on a lot of things. It's based on experience. It's based on culture. It's based on family dynamics, how you grew up, things that were said when you were a child that you picked up and held on to. Again, it is also fueled by our culture, certain things that culturally we believe. Religion ties into this as well. So for the month of May, you want to think about your perspective, your insight, what it is that you believe, what is it that you think, and then how are you perceiving the world outside of you or the people outside of you. And perception again goes back, when I see these right here, it looks like, like a spiral going back. To me, it's a time, or May would be a time for you to go back and see where some of those thoughts come from. Now, I will say this about perspective. Perspective can change at any time. It changes with experience. For some of us right now dealing with the global health crisis, our perspective has changed quite a bit. And so you have to think about where some of your thoughts, some of your beliefs come from, and then how they are shaping your current experience, because they are. Subconsciously, the ideas and the thoughts and the beliefs that we hold dear and true to us are literally shaping the way that our lives are playing out. And for some of us, the way our lives are playing out is not to our liking, and that is because you have to be in alignment. And right now, I've been saying this for a couple of months, alignment is the name of the game right now. If you are not aligned with your true purpose, if you're not aligned with who you are spiritually, what your spirit wants and what your spirit is pushing and asking and desiring, and if you are fighting that, if you are in some way those things are not lining up for you, it will show up, and it'll show up in your living experience. Whether or not you're happy or unhappy, or whether or not you feel depressed, or whether or not you are enjoying your life experience and living your best life. All of that is tied into your perspective. And if you're not happy with the way things are, maybe you need to change your perspective. Okay? And then the next card is Alchemy. I love this card. I love the hand. I love the sun coming out of the palm. I love the all of the energy coming here, but coming out of the fingertips. So when I look at this, I see a healing hand, and this is associated with alchemy. Alchemy is just change. That's all it is. Alchemy, and being an alchemist is about creating change, and change can happen in any way. When we think of traditional alchemy, we think about, the whole thing about gold and lead, and and the metal, and there's a whole science behind it. And if you're into the science, then go for it. But ultimately, for all of us, if you think about just generally what alchemy is, it's about changing one thing into another. And that's why I wanted to talk about your perspective first, Cancer, because your perspective can change your experience. And so if we're going back to this and you are not living your best life, then it's time to start looking at your perceptions, your thoughts, your belief, which of course shapes this. And then as you begin to change your perspective, then the healing can happen. The alchemy can happen. The change can happen that you're actually looking for. But none of this is going to go down right now unless you are clear about your perspective, clear about this, and how it relates to your spiritual oneness. Who you are and how you are. You can't fight yourself but for so long. Okay, Cancer. So that's what this is about. Just remember that the healing is in your hands. That's what I get from this card. Your healing is in your hands. It's really up to you. No one can heal you. You will heal yourself. And so I feel like that message needs to get through to some of you guys. So that's it. So 2 things to think about. Think about your perspective, and then how that is going to create the change or the healing that you want to happen in your life. And I'll take this moment to say that from my perspective, here's my perspective, that healing can come in any way. Healing is not just about, fixing a wound or healing a disease or something like that that's physical. Healing can come in any way. For some of us, our healing is physical, something that physically is ailing us. And then for others of us, healing is internal. We have to heal past old wounds. We have to heal hurts. We have to heal the anger or frustration, or if we're depressed or something like that, it could be about that. And then sometimes we just have to change our environment, and then that becomes the healing source for us. So it just depends. It just depends. Okay, I jumped the gun. I was going to the story, but I forgot we have to go to Carolyn Mace. All right, so Carolyn Mace, I am bringing out Carolyn Mace because I don't know. Spirit told me to bring out Carolyn Mace for the month of May, and I tell my clients that I don't bring out the archetype cards unless you're really ready to hear the truth about who you are or about the people around you. So when I was meditating on what cards I was going to use for the month of May for your readings, and archetype came up, I said, oh boy, some truth-telling time. That's what it has to be. So what I'm going to do for you all, Cancer, with these is just to pull some archetypes. Archetypes are personality types. They're subtle personality types that are operating in all of us at any given time. When I think about this deck of cards, we really are talking about everybody and anybody and all kinds of things that can be going on inside of us, okay, at any given time, because we're human. This is the human experience right here. This is people being people right up in here. And so what I'm going to do is just shuffle these a few times and Let me get another spin on them too. What I do with these cards come in light and shadow, so they have the shadow side of the personality as well as the light side, or sometimes I call it the closet, what you're closeting, what you're keeping hidden versus what's out front. It could come in either way. So we'll just look at that when we read the card. And what I do is, if the card comes in reverse, I read the shadow, and if it comes in upright, then I read the light. Okay, I'm just pulling 3 cards, the first 3 that come up and come available to us, just to let you know who and what you might need to be on the lookout for, energies that you need to be on the lookout for in the month of May. Not just on the lookout, but aware of. That's what I mean. You could be on the lookout for, but it could also be to be aware of, because some of these traits might be in you, and then some of them might be outside of you. You may be experiencing them in your close circles or your work circles or your friend circles, but you could also be experiencing this within. So just whatever resonates and how it relates to you, then you just take it as it comes. All right, so we have a shadow servant, the servant coming in reverse. And the shadow servant is using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with your life. All right. All right, so you are operating in the shadow side of the servant if you are using a lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with your life. So for those of you who are experiencing any kind of financial setbacks, do not become the closet or the shadow side servant, becoming a slave to yourself or slave to something else that shouldn't rule you. So if you feel like it's money that's holding you back, or finances that's holding you back, then be like the water that you are, Cancer, and move around that obstacle, because that's not real. All right. And then be mindful of people who may be coming with that language, right? Because sometimes people come in with this kind of energy and they'll do it subtly. You know, they'll say little things, you know, that puts you in this mindset. It's like the Jedi mind trick. You got to watch out. You got to watch out for that kind of stuff. You know, because people will give you these little subtle messages, and then you'll be going around, well, I need money if I'm going to do da da da. No, that's not an excuse, and we're not going to use it as such. All right, so second, we have a light side child of nature. That's me. Yeah, a nature child. Friendships with animals, communication with the nature spirits. Okay, Cancer. So you want to be paying attention to your animal helpers out there, your animal allies. I love that. That's my favorite thing to do, is to pay attention to the animals. And sometimes when we have new clients come in, I ask them, after we've had our initial consult or we had our intake session, I'll tell them, pay attention to the animals that show up over and over again for you, because there's usually messages in those animals. Those are totem animals or familiars, or they could just also be just, you know, spirit helpers. Their energy is there to assist us. You know, this whole idea of having dominion over the animal kingdom is foreign to me, because honestly, it is us working together most of the time. So pay attention to your animal helpers that are out there, birds that show up, specific animals. And if you have any questions about that, I'll be happy to help you. You can hit me up and I'll be happy to help you determine what they're all about. You want to pay attention to the numbers that show up, as well as the type of animal. Is it an air animal? Is it a creeping crawler? Is it an all fours animal? Or is it a two-legged animal? You know there's two-legged animals out there. So you want to get in touch with your animal spirits at this time. And we do animal spirit readings. So if you want to get an animal spirit reading, we can do it. But the best way to do animal spirits is just to observe them in your natural environment and habitat. They'll tell you a lot that way. All right. And then we have the detective on the light side. Great powers of observation and intuition. A desire to seek out the truth. I love this image. She looking through the book. That's some Scorpio stuff right there. Y'all might want to get with your Scorpio friends because they are the detectives of the Zodiac. Um, but this could be for you yourself. I think all of this is you, Cancer. I really do. I don't. The only thing that I'm questioning right now, or not even really questioning, but cautioning, is that it may be people coming in to kind of this one feels like it could come from outside or inside, but either way it goes, we'll just kind of pay attention to that. But I feel like all of these really are about messages for you. Pay attention to your animals, and get in touch with your animal spirits, those that are around you. And then also the using your intuition, using your observation skills, and using your intuition to find out the truth. Great, great, great for you. Great, great, great. Love that. Love that. I don't want to go away from them. Hold on. Yeah, Cancer. I think that this one is definitely you. It's like looking through. You want to look through past what's been said, what's been written, what you've been told. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference between reading about something. You could go in a book and read about a person who climbed Mount Everest. And it could be a fascinating read and you could love it and you could feel like you were there. But until you have the experience or until you see for yourself, you don't really know what it is. And so I'm feeling like that's really what this is for you. It's like this is not what you read about, it's what you're actually going to experience. And not only that, it's something you're going to see for yourself. So put your detective skills on here. Yeah, and with the closet servant or the shadow servant, what I'm seeing here, and this is just me looking at it in the upright position, it's about if you lack the money to do what you need to do, you got to think about your skill set, how your skills can make you climb. And this whole thing about, and I'm saying this specifically for my entrepreneurs out there because I know I got a lot of entrepreneurs on the line. Um, Building your company or building your business, it's done in stages, it's done in steps. There's the push and pull of it, and some of you guys know what I'm talking about already if you experience this. There's a push and the pull, and so it's good if you can get into the rhythm of that. That is a particular rhythm that goes with the marketplace. The marketplace is, it has its own rhythm. It has its own movement. And so if you're going to be in the marketplace, you have to get used to feeling that. It's very intuitive. It's a very intuitive thing. So that's where your detective skills come in. But so at times you need money to push your concept, your ideal, your product, your service forward. Sometimes you need that. And then sometimes you don't need that because you have to use your skill to push something forward. So if you've been trying to feed something money and it's not working, or if you don't have the money and you feel like that's holding you back, then you got to get around. That's what I was saying about be the water and get around that obstacle. That's really just not the case. And it's probably the timing is that you have to the timing of the situation that you're in is calling for you to assess a skill that will make you climb a little further. Okay. And then that's just, getting in touch with your animal spirits. That's it. I don't know why I didn't want to let them go. They had something else to say. I told y'all Carolyn Mace be all about the truth, okay? She be all about the truth. Love some Carolyn Mace. I've been following Carolyn Mace for years. And then when I found out she had cards, I said, oh my, I'm all late. But anyway, thank you, Carolyn Mace, for your work. I'm saying this. Maybe Carolyn Mace is a Cancer and she'll see this video, but tell Carolyn Mace I said thank you. She's done a fantastic job in the world. All right, so I'm moving right along here. This is the Tarot of 1001 Nights. I like these cards because they come from a storytelling tradition. Middle Eastern storytelling tradition, for those of you who have seen Aladdin or, you know, Alibaba and the Seven Thieves. What is it? Alibaba and the Seven Thieves. So it comes from a storytelling tradition. As I say, old Bedouin tales. And the Bedouins and people in that part of the world are known for their ability to tell a great story. And so whenever I want to tell a story, or whenever I want to get the story, I go to Tarot of 1001 Nights. And we're going to do this right here, right now with Cancer. All right. Let's see what we get here. All right, so I have got the moon in reverse. That's that shadow energy. This is shadow energy right here. This shadow energy. I'm also getting that you need to spend time connecting to the moon, because guess what? That is your ruling luminary. That's your ruling luminary. And guess what? You need to connect with her. You need to connect with her, Cancer. That's what she's saying, that her moon children have not been connecting with her. Okay? And she needs for you all to connect with her. It's a communal, it's a communion. Well, that's nice. I feel jealous I'm not Cancer right now. But there is a communion between the moon and and those that are ruled by the moon. So Cancer people with sun sign Cancer, or who have Cancer moons, or if you know that Cancer is heavy in your chart, you need to connect with the moon during the moon changes and the moon times. So we have the new moon that just passed, that, you know, by the time you get this video, I'm talking about May, you will have already gotten through the April full moon. So that means that the next new moon, you'll want to be aware of what's going on with that and getting connected there. Getting connected is many things. You can just spend time outside if the moon is even if it's a dark moon, even if it's a new moon, go outside and spend time with the moon. You can do moon waters, like go and take water and put it out in the moon, let the full moon bless the water, and then you can do certain rituals, or you can drink the water, or, you know, just whatever it is. But it's just about making a connection with the moon, and that's what she's saying to me right now, is that she needs for you to do that. She needs for you to do that. So full moons and new moons, definitely you'll want to connect there. And as you know, we do a full and a new moon reading every month, so you can do it through the readings as well. But just whatever way you feel moved to connect to the moon, you need to do that. And then I think also for you guys, y'all also want to check out your quarter moons too. So the first quarter moon, so not only the full and the new, but you might want to check in on the quarters as well. And it is about knowing your shadow side. You got to know both of those, okay? All right, we've got the World coming up in the upright position. I'm seeing you and another person connecting, and your energies are resonating in the world. It's you and another person. So there's a partnership coming, and it just depends on where that partnership exists. It can come in any form. It can come in the form of a romantic partnership. It could be somebody that you're committing to in your love relationship, like that kind of partner. But it could also be other partnerships, friendships, or relationships that you have with other people. But whatever it is, you and this other person that you're going to connect with, y'all's energies click. And when you two are together, your energies emanate out. Out. This is about getting unbound, unleashed. Look at this guy. He's tethered to someone else. This isn't the same thing. This isn't tethering. This is just two people energetically moving together in the universe. This is tethered, right? So if you're in any kind of relationships where you're being tied to them in some way, then you'll want to check that or put that in check, because this is not the time for that. Your connection and your tie and your tethering right now is with your moon. It's with your luminary, and that's it. And again, I just want to be clear that this connection doesn't operate like a tethering. It's like when you're together, the energy just, it illuminates. And that's cool. All right, so I'm getting this card a lot in a lot of readings. This is the Knight of Swords, and I'm paying attention to it because I think I've had it in about 3 readings. So that means that this is something that may be affecting several of you in the camp. Yours is coming in reverse, though, the Knight of Swords. Okay, so I am seeing that there is flight happening. There is flight. I'm seeing the flight happening here with the horse and power associated with that. The power of flight. Okay. Ooh, gosh. Cancer, you all taking me there. It's about the power of flight. How flight happens. Going back to the nature child and going back to connecting with animals, birds. Is what you want to be paying attention to in the month of May, because there is power in flight. Literally, when a bird takes off from the ground, it is on the ground and it literally lifts itself into the air. Okay, so you'll want to be paying attention to birds. I want you to look at how they take off, and I want you to practice it at home. That can be a part of a movement meditation. Matter of fact, I think I'll add that to our list when we do our movement meditation. When we do our online meditations, we'll do some movement meditation around flight, because there is a strength in it. You have to be strong to fly, and strength is dependent on the individual, because the flight is different for the individual. Whatever makes you fly doesn't make somebody else fly. Your vision for flight for yourself can be quite different than somebody else's vision of flight for yourself. So when you think about you and you think about what it is that will make you fly, when you're flying, what does flying look like for you? Right? Then you'll want to think about what it takes to get there, and what it has taken for you to get this far. That's your strength. That's the strength in the flight. I definitely see you overcoming. You're trying to overcome something. But the thing that you're trying to overcome, a structure, actually. A construct. It's a mind thing. You're trying to overcome a particular mind structure, a mindset, or a mind. Yeah. You're trying to overcome a particular mindset. It's a structure. That's what I'm seeing. It's right down here. It's a structure that you're trying to overcome. And that takes some strength. It takes mental strength, actually, because you have to overcome your thoughts. You have to overcome your habitual thoughts. You have to overcome the belief pattern that leads to this tethering, right? Don't want to be anchored right now. You do not want to be anchored. All right, so we've got the 7 of Swords, also of Swords in reverse. This is about finding your treasure. This is about finding your treasure, and it's a treasure that has been passed down. It's a legacy. It's a legacy. It's a legacy, and it's something that's been passed down from generation to generation to generation. Okay, and so now it's your turn, right, to receive it. But right now, it looks like it's hidden, or it's you haven't uncovered it. You haven't quite discovered it yet. This is a very nuanced thing, Cancer. It's very nuanced. So is this. So is this. It's very nuanced. And by nuanced, I mean it's not going to be over. It's not a major change. And it's something that you would see automatically. It's a little fine tuning that you're reaching for within. It's a fine tuning within that's going to get you there, because you will stand here over this treasure forever and not be able to it'll be standing right in front of you. It'll be sitting right in front of you, and you won't even be able to lift this. Look how easy it is. All you got to do is lift this cover off, and boom, you know what your treasure is. You know what it is. You have your treasure. But literally, if you don't tweak this, if you don't do the fine tuning, you can be standing right there over there with your hand on it, and you won't be able to just lift it, because this is all internal. It's not an external thing, but you know that already. All right, so then we have the King of Chalices also coming up in reverse. And the King of Chalices is really to me, you in your, when you are in complete alignment, because chalices is the water element. Chalices represents the element of water. You all are water signs ruled by the moon. The moon rules all water. You're the first water sign of the zodiac. So you understand emotions. You understand the realm of emotions better than anybody else. You also understand things that are felt at an intuitive level. You understand that. You also understand about the giving and the receiving, how to give and receive, how to give of yourself, how to receive in grace. You understand that. This is like your core. So this coming in reverse tells me that these two things, this untethering, this connecting with your moon luminary spirit, this finding your flight power, the power in your flight, and then also understanding your legacy and what that's going to take, that little bit of tweaking is what you need to really be in your full regalia as a Cancer person. So the king, even though the king represents the masculine, it's the masculine within the feminine, and what that is feminine power. That's what it is for me. It's honing in and owning your feminine power. And that's regardless of if you're a man or a woman, chick, child, doesn't matter to me. That's owning that power. And the power is what I just explained to you. Power of intuition, power of feeling, power of knowing emotion, power of being able to emotionally connect with other people, empathy being a power source, and then also intuition being a power source. That's what that's all about. Whoa, Cancer. I'm going to need to take a break. I am. I'm going to need to take a break after this. Oh, this is getting me. Another 7 here again. Sevens. 7. Where are we? All right. This is the second 7, also in reverse. 7 of Wands this time. This is about you being able to cast your nets and receive what it is that you need, or more than what you need. You casting your nets and being able to receive more than what you ever expected, more than what you realize, to the point where it comes in and you're going to be quite apprehensive about it. But that is by design. So the idea of casting nets, you cast your nets, you send the nets out, you dredge, and you see what you get back, right? If it's not worth the catch, you put the catch back, right? Then you cast your net again until you get the big catch. That's what you're waiting on right here. And that, to me, just goes right back to this right here. It's about finding your inner treasure. It's about knowing the legacy of your treasure as well, and knowing that you deserve it. Cancer, you got to know you deserve it too. I want you to be mindful if this tethering is to any thoughts as well. Make sure you're not tethering to any thoughts. We got the 6 of Swords. That's the boat. That's the ship. That's you being being carried along on the water. This coming in reverse as well too. A lot of reversals here. The reversals aren't really a big deal. It just lets me know like where you are right now. And what I'm seeing is that all of these things, this is what I tell people too. Even though it's coming in reverse, the fact that this card or this energy is here says it's here, it's accessible, it's available. The reversal means either you maybe are not quite tapped into it. It could mean that it's something that you're getting past or you're getting over. It could also mean that something you're not paying attention to or something that you don't see. But I am seeing a ship here that's either coming to pick you up and take you to the other shore. I see that ship is traveling on water, and that water is your feelings, your emotions, getting in touch. It's owning those things and using them. It's about harnessing them and using them as power to help you lift off. Okay, so do that little homework. It's a little homework. Can we please help Cancer out with the homework, please? What's something that they need to think about, please? Okay. Okay. All right. So you need to be thinking about you need to be thinking about your perceptions. This goes all the way back to the perception thing. You got to go back and you got to look at where your perceptions come from, because just like you have this legacy of treasure, you also can carry with you a legacy of thoughts and thought patterns that can keep you from it as well. You know what I'm saying? Like each generation is supposed to do a little better than the generation that came before them in one way or the other. It's like the legacy is being passed down to you for you to carry it forward, but you don't want to carry, but in order for you to be able to actualize this, you have to see where there may be thought patterns that came from your ancestry, your ancestors, your family dynamic, etc. You have to see where there may be thought patterns that prevent you from getting here as well. This is an interesting juxtaposition. Pay attention to that. Because that's very real. Like every generation had their own dreams, right? And then when we come through, we are standing on the shoulders of our ancestors. We are carrying out some dreams that maybe some of our ancestors had. They just couldn't do it because of circumstances, life, and things that were completely beyond their control. And then there's also the things that they carried with them, thoughts and belief patterns that they believed about themselves that prevented them from being able to achieve their dreams as well. So when it comes to you and they've kind of dropped those little seeds in you, you have to overcome those in order to get done what it is that you need to get done. And they're behind you 100%. They're somewhere in the other world saying, "Hey, don't do what we did. Make it better. Don't get hung up." I went through my life. I'm speaking from the ancestors' place. I went through life believing that I wasn't pretty enough, and that held me back. So don't you go do that. You are pretty enough. You are smart enough, or loving enough, or joyful enough, or effervescent enough, or interesting enough to do whatever it is that you want to do. And that goes back to that being a servant, that closet servant self, believing that you can't do something because of some kind of extraneous. Y'all got me worked up. I can't even talk. Okay. All right. So we have the 2, which in this deck is labeled the venerable woman. The venerable woman, that is the high priestess in other decks. So I'm really feeling your spiritual power here with this card. I'm really going to close on this one too. I'm feeling your spiritual power here. I'm feeling you being uplifted, not just from yourself and from your inner strength, but also from outside of you. People will lift you. There are those that are waiting to receive you, Cancer, and you are in a position to embody that experience. That's what your spirit is calling you to, this place, this spiritual oneness. And that's why your moon mama is asking for you. And that's why they want you to really um, do this homework. Okay. So go back and legacies of thinking is what I want to say for that. Legacies of thinking. And that's going to make me want to do some other work around that. The power of flight, the power of your flight, very important there. And then just owning your feminine power. That's that for that. I'm holding these out. I'm gonna have a whole series on just these two alone. Okay, moving right along. This is the alphabet for lovers. This is the alphabet for lovers. I'm just gonna pull three for you all this month. And again, what I'm doing is just looking at relationships in general. So as I pull these cards, this may resonate with you all. This might be about your spouse, your lover, your partner, your friend, could be your mother, your child, could be a relationship with a coworker. So wherever it applies or wherever it resonates or however it resonates, just keep that with you while we meditate on it. Just three. Got a spiritual connection here. Let's see what that one is. There we go. All right, so we got a spiritual connection. There is, oh, I love this card. It reminds me of twin babies. I think this is your partner friend from the other, from the Tarot of 1001 Nights segment of this. That's what I think this is. But these are the, this is you being connected to another person. This is a comforting experience. This is a relaxed experience. This is like you being at home with yourself almost. You and this other connection. That's that other connection I was telling you about. You and that partner where I feel like y'all's energies connect and you know how twins, they can finish each other's sentences and stuff like that. Whenever I see this card, that's what I think about. But the card itself is about someone with whom you have a deep spiritual connection. So be on the lookout for that, or just pay attention to those spiritual connections that you have. All right, the number 7, again, you got another 7. Seven's lucky 7 for you. All right, we have caring and kindness. So this is a relationship that is marked by caring and by kindness. And I'm saying that it is not just you and one other person. It could be another person as well. Could be a child, could be an elder that you might be taking care of in your home. But I'm saying that it's not just you. I think this may be either this feels like somebody, it could be an older couple taking care of a child, a grandchild, or it could also be somebody who is having to take care of an elder, I'm getting in this situation. But it's saying to just remember caring and kindness, which you guys know about more than anything. You all are connected to the heart and your heart space. Just go to your heart space and remember that the care that you give and the kindness that you share with the other person goes a long way. Especially if you are caring for an elder or you're caring for a child and you feel like you can't give enough, like I'm just not sure if I'm doing enough or if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Just know that your care and your kindness is enough in that situation to carry you a long way. I feel like that's some kind of, that's definitely a caretaker situation. Somebody is a caretaker in their home, and I'm feeling that with you. And then we have the number 69. I ain't getting into that. Successful completion and discovering the truth. Successful completion and discovering the truth. And this is also something where you may be with other people. I feel like this is like this could be a work situation here where you kind of feel like you and the other people are on the trenches or in the trenches with each other. You are on the front line together. I don't know. I'm automatically thinking about the people who are in the hospitals and in the doctor's offices who are caring for the patients who are coming in with corona. But that's kind of the feel that I have here with that. And what I'm feeling is that if you're feeling that way, or if you're in a relationship like that with others, could be a work situation, could also be a family situation as well, where you're on the front line. Know that you are being divinely guided. You are being carried in a lot of ways. Just continue to keep your head forward and keep your face forward in that, and know that it is nearing its end, that you are discovering the truth about yourself. You're discovering the truth about other people, but you're also completing a love task or a relationship task here as well. All right, so that is your reading for the month of May. Wow, this was a real powerful one for you, Cancer. I really am feeling you, and I'm going to be sending some positive energy out there for you to get that work done and get that homework done. As always, I hope you have a great day. I hope you're having a wonderful May, and I hope you have a fabulous life.